Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am Clay Edwards, live on 103.9 FM WYAB. Getting one day closer to the 50,000 rock and roll watt upgrade here. That'll make us the most powerful non-music station in Mississippi, I do believe, but absolutely 100% in central Mississippi. The most powerful talk radio show, the most powerful talk radio station going hand in hand to take over Mississippi. I can't wait. I can't wait. All the heavy hitters we got here at WYAB. Amplifying minority voices is what we do here. I'm a white guy in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm absolutely the minority. Kim Wade, he's a black guy. He's absolutely a minority. Same goes for everybody else. They can pick whatever version of a minority they are. We're amplifying the voices. The voice of the voiceless. We're streaming worldwide at SaveJXN on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. On Rumble, search Clay Edwards Show. Yeah, I guess I actually am a minority. I'm a proud, straight, white male. We're a dying breed. They tried to kill all of us. They did. They tried to tell us that all of those things were evil. Bad. Bad. Sit down. Get back in. Get back in the house. Get off social media. You're not allowed to be all of those things at one time. If you're white, you must be gay. Only black men can be straight. Boy, they went after us the last few years, didn't they? They went after us hard the last few years. I'm trying to think, where did it start? Where did it all begin? The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Phone line's wide open. Just remember, no block numbers and no cussing. Keep it pretty simple. If you call from a block number, you don't get answered. If you act stupid, we put your phone number on the internet for the world to harass you. Like I say, fair is fair, right? So, what was the first attack at our masculinity? Was it the Gillette commercial? The toxic masculinity commercial? Was that the first mortar thrown at us, like in the mainstream? I need y'all's help on this. Let me know. I'm kind of winging it a little bit today. There was no real just immediate low-hanging fruit I wanted to talk about. I mean, I know we're going to talk about the 911. It's a joke in the old town. Get up, get up, get up, and get down. You know, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Comey. I mean, look, y'all, I don't have some wide-ranging depth on the Comey stuff. Comey bad. That's about my depth of the Comey stuff. He's a piece of crap, and I believe that he deserves everything he's going to get, and then some. Somebody watching on the live stream says, "Look, you look tired." I am tired. I slept 5 hours last night. I was up to midnight, and I was just really getting in deep sleep, deep REM sleep at 5:15 this morning when my alarm went off. I was like, "You got to be kidding!" I was finally sleeping good. Yep. Probably got some bags under my eyes this morning. Well, here's what ended up happening. I started working out last night about 6:30, and I just didn't stop till about 9:30. And then about 8:45, 9, I worked out a solid 2.5 hours. Now, keep in mind, it ain't nonstop working out action the whole time. Now that I've built the home gym, I mean, it is a nice home gym. I'm really proud of it. Now that I've got that going, I just take my time. I do from exercise to exercise, play on my phone, Anyway, and I went in and I got, picked up a new pellet smoker, but new to me, pre-owned pellet smoker / grill from a buddy of mine who was moving and couldn't take it with him. So I got like a once in a lifetime kind of deal, but I had to go get it that day. Shout out to Fred Shanks for helping me. Well, I finally decided to try it out last night, and I wasn't ready to cook a steak on it yet. I didn't want the first thing I cooked on this thing to be a steak. So I wanted to test it out with some chicken thighs. Don't get me wrong, I love chicken thighs, and I didn't want to waste or burn or screw up some chicken thighs no more than I wanted to screw up a steak. I mean, I'll probably eat, all joking aside, I probably eat 6, 7 pounds, maybe 10 pounds of chicken thighs a week. Now, you got to figure in the bone and all that. But anyway, so I cooked these chicken thighs. I took my time with it. I wouldn't say I smoked them, but I slow cooked them. That took a little while. Well, then I decided, I need a side to go with this. So I scrambled some eggs, and I about ruined them. I got to get another skillet. I got to get a better no-stick skillet. But so the eggs started. They weren't scorching, but they started sticking to the bottom of the skillet. So I moved them over. I pulled the tray out of the bottom of the air fryer, and when I make like a scrambled egg omelet, I saute peppers and onions, like frozen peppers, fajita mix, peppers and onions. Anyway, I just dumped it all in the air fryer, sprinkled some cheese on top of it, and air fried it for a few extra minutes to get it done all the way. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, that was the best eggs, the way I cook them anyway, that I've ever had. I don't know if I could start them in the air fryer and get the same end result that I got, or if I have to half cook them in a skillet and then move them to the air fryer every time. But man, anyway, I say all that to say that it was 10:30 by the time I got through eating last night, and I sat down to do a little show prep, and I just had brain freeze. I was like, man, I've been in front of this computer all day editing videos and reading stuff and everything. I just brain freeze. So I didn't get to bed about midnight, knowing I had to be up at 5:15. So yeah, I'm a little tired this morning, but hey, that's life. That's life. The show goes on. Real quick, before I go any further, the shirt I am wearing the green FAFO, the military green FAFO shirt this morning. This shirt, as well as its black counterpart, along with every hat that's in stock or cap, depending upon what you call them, and the FAFO flags are on sale for 50% off today only till 6:30 tonight on my website, buyfafo.com. The promo code is CLAY. I guess I should have put that on the scroll down here. I'll fix that real quick. Yeah, promo code is CLAY at checkout, and everything's 50% off. I'm typing with promo code now, so I don't forget to do this with promo code CLAY. And of course, that's the same promo code that you use to get your free testosterone screening too from Men's Health of Mississippi. But circling back to the masculinity thing, was it the toxic masculinity? Was that the first shot at the bow, shot across the bow at our masculinity? Or was it? Or did they light the rain? I can't talk this morning. It's what happens when you don't get a good night's sleep. Did they light the White House up as a rainbow before that? Not 100% sure which one came out first. Got a text on the Guns and Gear text line that says Brokeback Mountain. Brokeback Mountain came out in 2005, made it socially acceptable to not frown on homosexuality. That led to a more open society and worse things. Then social media blew the rest of it out of the water, and that's when we became the minority. The social minority, anyway. Yeah, man, we got a real problem in America with the attack on masculinity. And you're seeing it with young men. You've seen it, the trickle-down effect is that young men are completely lost. They're just rudderless with no way to go. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Good morning, you're on there.
Hey, good morning, Clay. How are you?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Doing all right. Hey, I would think the attack on masculinity to me, it started back in the early 90s with the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That's how they did the, you know, how you boil a frog. You don't throw him in the boiling water. You put him in there, then you gradually turn the heat up, and then next thing you know, he's cooked, right?
Yeah, that's a great
I think
point.
that's kind of when it started, was back then. Well, it probably started before then, too, but that's kind of when I guess they went full steam ahead with it. Slowly, but they still proceeded with their, I guess, a plan. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy person, but I think that's kind of when it all started back then.
No, I tell you what, that's a great point, and wouldn't doubt it at all. You know, you could trace it back. I just asked AI when it believes that it started, so we'll see what it says here. I appreciate it, brother. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right, man. Have a blessed one. Guys, y'all be sure to get out and support 042 Wine and Spirits this weekend. It's a football Friday here in the dirty, dirty South. Whether it's high school football tonight, man, y'all be tailgating for high school football games. I love it. I love seeing all the tailgating for high school football games. And look, let's not kid ourselves. I know it's in those cups. I know it's in those Yeti cups and all those RTIC or whatever they are, all those insulated cups, those red Solo cups. That ain't hot cocoa. That ain't water. That ain't Herbalife shakes. I know it's that brown. I know it's that cold beer. Y'all swing by 042 Wine and Spirits. Get whatever you need that goes in that cup this weekend. Great bottle of bourbon, vodka, you know, those Bloody Marys. Man, tomorrow morning, those 11 o'clock kickoffs, those Bloody Marys, they'll be great. You're going to be sitting around the house all day, having some people over. Maybe you're going to one of the games. Actually, you're going to be really tailgating in the Grove, in the Junction. Man, get some of that Fireman John's Bloody Mary mix from 042 Wine and Spirits. Or they got the Zing Zang and all that, too. I love it. Ain't nothing wrong with it either. If you like to jazz up your own, that Fireman John's, you don't have to do anything to. Pour and go. Can't go wrong with that. Don't forget to try the meatballs, too. Just get a thing of that Fireman John's from 042. Pour it in the crock pot. Dump those frozen meatballs in there. Let it soak for an hour or so, however long, and eat. And you're going to be the rock star of the tailgate if you brought the meatballs and you made them like that. Shout out to, let's see here, somebody just bought a shirt. Let's see here. Shout out to Justin. Don't hate to say your last name. You know, don't like to put your business out there, but shout out to Justin. Just bought what did Justin buy at buyfafo.com? He took advantage of the sale. I see the price. Justin bought the exact shirt that I'm wearing now. The green FAFO. He took advantage of the 50% off. He's a big old boy. He bought a 2X. If it was me, I saw a boy big enough to wear a 2X FAFO shirt. I want that guy in my foxhole. Not that one, Democrats. Not that one. All right, I'm gonna do a little reconnaissance during the break here. I've asked AI when the attack on masculinity began. I want to jump down this rabbit hole and explore this a little bit and kind of how we got to this point, because we've seen it with the young men out there, the young man that killed Charlie Kirk, the young man that killed himself at Delta State, the young man that killed himself in Louisiana. This attack on masculinity is leading to drug addiction. It's leading to depression. It's leading to isolation. And of course, it's leading to suicide. And it's leading to homosexuality in a lot of cases because of the incel side of it. And again, I say it all the time, I don't have a problem with you if you decide to be gay. That's an attack on that. But at the end of the day, it ain't natural, you know. And I believe that there's something that pushes a lot of people that direction that may not have normally gone that direction. Some people are born that way. And I know that my Christian friends get mad at me. My fellow Christian friends get mad at me because I am a Christian when I say that, because they say that God don't make mistakes and God doesn't, people aren't born that way. I think some people are. I think some people are, because I know some people who were raised with the most manly of men as their role model, as their father figure. And they came out sweet as a sugar cookie. And that's all right. I mean, I just think that's the way people are born. I do. I got a family member like that. I mean, we knew that kid was gay from the time he was about 3 years old. And he was raised with a bunch of father figures in his life. And there's nothing wrong with it. We love him just like we love everybody else in the family. But I mean, I know that he didn't have any influences that made him that way. Anyway, I digress. Well, we're going to do a little recon here. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line. If you got any takes, any opinions on this, am I right, am I wrong? What do you think? 601-879-0002. And, of course, if you're watching on the live stream, you can drop a chat in. We'll pull your chats over to the main screen here when we come back from the break. This is the Clay Edwards Show on a Fo Friday here on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. This segment brought to you by Ellis Autoplex. Get over there to see Casey and the team this weekend and check out all the four-door, four-wheel drive pickups they have to offer, particularly with a heavy lean towards F-150s. But, hey, man, I'm sure they got some GM and some GMC and Chevrolet as well. For some reason, Chevrolet was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't quite get it off there. And even Rams sometimes. Swing by, check them out today. And, of course, they got cars and SUVs, too. They do a good job of keeping a lot of late model stuff. Casey and I both spent a bunch of time working at Toyota and Ford over the years, so Casey understands the value of keeping some 4Runners and stuff of that nature on the lot, as well as I've seen some late model Broncos over there, the good-looking ones, not the little knockoff Explorer version of the Bronco. I'm sure, they get some of those, too. There's something for everybody. That just ain't for me. I do love that new Bronco. My friend Christy, that's a bartender at McBee's, she's got I don't guess I need to put her personal information out there, but anyway, she's got a cool Bronco. Got some like aftermarket wheels and stuff on it. I saw it the other day. I was like, dang, that looks good. It's kind of like from the factory. I say aftermarket. It just looks good from the factory. I'm not sure which package it is. But anyhow, they got some of those, or had some of those last week there at Ellis. You can check it all out at ellisautoplex.com. Go by, take it for a test drive today. Like Ellis reminds me a lot of the kind of vehicles he's getting and the little bit of the work they're doing on them. Kind of like some of the stuff we did when I was working at Swain. I see some level kits. I'm seeing some bigger wheels and tires, some aggressive packages put on these things, looking really, really good. Very easy on the eyes when you ride by Ellis Autoplex. So swing by, check them out. Look, don't forget, maybe you ain't buying a car. Maybe you just want to sell one. If you can drive it in, he's going to make you an offer on it as long as it's not just an absolute turd. I think we've only had to turn one down, only one vehicle that a listener took by there that he just wasn't comfortable making an offer on. He's agreed to make an offer on every vehicle that comes by. But there was just one it was too many red flags, and he was super polite about it. And I appreciate the people that listened to the show and took it by there and for being understanding and just like, sometimes you just can't do it. So he's going to make you an offer, just about guaranteed. And it's going to be fair market value. It ain't going to be just a make you go away offer either. So swing by there, let him put a number on it for you. Maybe you're going to trade your vehicle in at one of these big new car dealerships, and you want to make sure you keep them honest. Let Casey put a number on it for you. And you always got that in your back pocket. Nowadays, well, forever, knowledge is discount when you're buying a car. The more you know about your trade, especially, because anybody for the most part can go to a local Ford, Chevy dealership, whatever, Toyota, Honda, because there's multiple dealerships of those in every market. And you can get a brand new vehicle for a couple $100 back of cost. You can even get in some of their holdback money. It doesn't take much to do that when there's a competing dealership in town. Where you get the best deal now for you is if you have a trade and you know what it's worth. That's where you have the power in the negotiations. I'm telling you, this is a guy that worked in the new car business for 8 of my 12 years in the car business. Your trade is where you make your money or save your money. Man, I'm looking at myself on the computer screen here, And these lights in here are way too bright. I look like I'm glowing. Literally. I look like I drank some nuclear energy or something. I need to dim these lights a little bit. Anyway, ellisautoplex.com. So, the attack on masculinity. Oh, yeah, it's located on Highway 471 in Flowood, out there in Rankin County, for those that are new to the program. So, I just did AI. I used Grok, and I just simply asked, when did the attack on masculinity begin? And this is rather lengthy. I'm going to read like the opening paragraph or so, and then we're going to kind of jump down to the 80s and 90s part of this. But it's rather detailed, which is pretty interesting. So it says, I said, when did the liberal attack on masculinity start? And I probably shouldn't have coined it like that, because these cuck rhino conservatives are no better than the liberals when it comes to the attack on masculinity. I mean, the overwhelming majority of the people that we have sent over to Washington, D.C. from this very state right here probably have a cumulative testosterone level of about 300. So I don't want to give the masculinity rating being too high as far as our representation goes here. Anyway, with that said, the notion of a liberal attack on masculinity is a politically charged framing often used in contemporary debates to describe critiques of traditional gender roles, patriarchal structures, or specific behaviors associated with masculinity, such as dominance, emotional suppression, or violence. This perspective is subjective, not universally accepted. Many scholars, see, you lost me at scholars. Masculinity and scholars typically don't go together. Anyway, many scholars and activists, if you're a scholar and an activist, you need to text Clay to 601-800-5130 and get your free testosterone screening from Men's Health of Mississippi Today. Anyway, many scholars and activists view these critiques as not an assault on men or masculinity itself, but as an effort to address systemic inequalities that harm both men and women. For instance, feminist and sociological analyses, it does not say analysis, it says analyses, typically target, I don't even know what this word is, I've never heard it, hegemonic, Hegemonic, masculinity, a concept introduced in the 1980s to describe dominant cultural ideals of manhood that reinforce power imbalances rather than inherent male traits. Did Kamala Harris write this? This is why they use the term AI slop. I use AI to write stuff. I'll take my Facebook post because my grammatical errors are epic, and I'll just take what I post, I'll run it through AI and say, clean this up. And you can usually tell when I do it because there's no grammatical errors in my post. And I do not hide the fact that I use AI to do that. But you can always tell when AI wrote something because it'll have something in there to the extent of, it's not just a great game. It was an epic night of sports rivalry. It always does that escalator, as I call it. It's like, not only was it an important game, it was a integral night of sports engagement. Anyway, I always know when I'm reading AI. I've read enough of it now that I 100% know. If you ever wonder if something's AI and you ain't sure, send it to me. I'll let you know. I may be a GED having high school dropout, but I know when I'm reading AI. Anyhow, so it starts here back in the late 18th to 19th century. We're going to skip that because, frankly, I don't give a damn about anything that happened before I was born. And then it moves into the mid-20th century, post-World War II, and precursors to the second wave of feminism. I do think this is kind of interesting because I believe that this is truly where the modern feminine male was born. The femininity, in my opinion. I want to say this real quick before I forget and before we move on. We often talk a lot about toxic masculinity, but I believe the biggest problem in America and the globe, especially globally in the term globo homo agenda, I believe all of that is due to toxic femininity. Toxic femininity is actually the real problem in this country. It's not toxic masculinity. It's a lack of toxic masculinity. We need more toxic males. Then males that stormed the beaches of Normandy. I need more toxicity like that. Can we get some more of that? Can we get some more of that toxic masculinity that made America great to begin with? That sailed over here on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria and the Mayflower? Can we get some more of that masculinity that survived that treacherous journey? I'm guessing there weren't too many Adam Schiffs on that boats. I'm guessing there weren't too many Jim Comeys on those boats. Continuing on. I am going to read this. It's short. It says, thinkers like Simone de Beauvoir, gay, in The Second Sex, 1949, analyzed how society positions men as the default subject and women as the other, critiquing the cultural elevation of masculine traits like rationality and autonomy at the expense of equality. This period saw growing liberal and feminist scrutiny of gender roles amid social changes like women's increased workforce participation. Then it moves into the 1960s and 70s, what it calls the second wave of feminism. This era marked a more explicit challenge to the patriarchal systems. Then we moved into the matriarchal. Anyway, which included critiques of traditional masculinity as enabling sexism, violence, and emotional expression. Works like Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique in 1963 and Kate Millett's Sexual Politics in 1970 dissected how male-dominated institutions perpetrated inequality. Liberal feminists sought inclusion in the male sphere, while radical feminists highlighted masculinity roles in oppression. Men's responses varied, with some forming pro-feminist groups to rethink masculinity and others resisting as anti-feminist backlash. So I want to read one line there again, and I want to add a little something to it. It says, men's responses varied, with some forming pro-feminist groups to rethink masculinity. Gay! Gay! I need a button to hit that just says gay. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. We're going to pick this up in the 1980s and 90s, the rise of masculinity studies and toxic masculinity. This is where it should get good. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I know I said it, the title of today's show was 911. We'll get there at some point. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I do need to get your chats up on the screen. Let me do that now so I don't forget. And we'll be right back to start reading some of your responses to all these shenanigans. We're diving into the attack on masculinity. When did it begin? Here on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on the WYAB. Hope everybody's having a great FAFO Friday out there in Radio Land. Real quick, man, I want to give a shout out to a couple folks who took advantage of the huge sale I'm having today over at the buyfafo.com. 50% off the brand new FAFO shirts that I'm wearing now, the one with the American flag on one sleeve and my logo on the other. The OG ones that don't have that are already on sale, so they're not part of the discount. I recommend buying those too. They're a good looking shirt. They just don't have the logos on the sleeves, but they do have my name under the logo, under the FAFO. Anyway, slightly different, but the new shirts, the brand new shirt, the hot off the press shirt, the FAFO hats, all the designs. I didn't hold back any. Every available design is on sale. And the FAFO flags, all 50% off with the promo code at checkout, Clay. Just type in my name, all capital letters. And you're getting 50% off. There's no limitations. Not just one. Don't have to buy one to get 50% off. None of that. Straight 50% off. No limits. on the amounts you can buy. I just got a bunch of inventory, and I'm in a good mood. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me, and I want to thank y'all by giving y'all 50% off on everything today till 6:30 p.m. But real quick, shout-outs to Justin. Well, why is it? I had more than one name, but they went away. Went away. Again, it's an attack on masculinity, is what we're talking about. I really wanted to give everybody a shout-out here, man, but my orders disappeared. I can't stand it when that happens. I don't want to bore y'all with it. Yeah, okay, here we go. Ashton. Shout out to Ashton. Shout out to, I think, 2 different Justins bought something today. So, I don't know. For whatever reason, it's not showing all the names. But I know we got Ashton, we got Justin, we got J-Rock, we got Chad. Yeah, there's everybody. J-Rock bought something today, too. That's why it threw me off there. Shout out to my boy J-Rock. Y'all go see him at Martin's Livingston. He's the bartender there. And he'll be there today, I believe, unless otherwise noted. He works lunch at the bar at Martin's Livingston all the time. Big supporter of the show, listens every day. So shout out to J-Rock ×2. Shout out to Justin, and shout out to Ashton as well as Chad for taking advantage of the sale this morning. 50% off. Use promo code CLAY. And get over to Martin's. It's a fried chicken Friday at both locations, downtown Jackson as well as the Livingston location. And if you're hungry right now, can't wait, stop by Martin's Market there at Livingston and grab a Southern-style chicken biscuit or a sausage and biscuit. They got the patty and the link available. And get some of those pork skins. You know, I've been on it on these football weekends. Some of those homemade pork skins from Martin's. Dip them in some queso, some pimento cheese. Oh, so good. So good. All right, man, let's pick it back up. Where were we at here? We were getting into the 80s and 90s on the attack on masculinity, the rise of masculinity studies, and, quote, toxic masculinity. This is interesting because I didn't think this started in the 90s. I thought the toxic masculinity started in the late 2000s. So let's see here. The term toxic masculinity emerged not from feminism, but from the mythopoetic men's movement led by figures like Robert Bly. I'm sure he's quite the masculine figure, which reacted to second wave feminism by distinguishing deep or healthy masculinity from toxic versions shaped by modern society, such as aggression or emotional detachment. Sociologist Raywyn Connell's concept of hegemonic masculinity, I'm sure I'm butchering that word, introduced around 1985, further formalized critiques viewing dominant male ideals as relational and often harmful when they promote unattainable standards leading to insecurity or violence. So I'm guessing what they mean by unattainable standards for what we consider the modern masculine male would be me. Me. I am the unattainable standard. Man, if I was a professional wrestler, that's the gimmick right there, isn't it? The unattainable standard. The masculine male, Clay Edwards, fighting out of Jackson, Mississippi. The unattainable standard. I'm going to remember that. That's going on a shirt. The unattainable standard. I'm taking a screenshot of that so I don't forget it. Continuing on. Feminists later adopted the term in the 1990s and beyond to describe traits fostering misogyny, homophobia, and domination. So the term toxic masculinity was adopted in the 90s by the feminist movement to describe men that they thought were homophobic, transphobic, racist, misogynist, all the things they've been calling us for so long now. All my favorite pet names. That says so much. Now I have a deeper curiosity on who at Gillette decided to use the term toxic masculinity in that commercial. All right, so the 2000s to the present. The discourse intensified with the third and fourth wave of feminism intersectional approaches considering race, class, etc., and events like hashtag #MeToo in 2017, which spotlighted harmful behaviors linked to masculinity. You know what's funny about the Me Too movement? The only people who truly suffered from that were all, Democrat megadonors. Interesting. Popular media, such as the 2019 Gillette ad, addressing bullying and harassment, fueled perception of an attack among critics, while supporters saw it as promoting positive change. Today, some liberal and feminist scholars, gay, advocate for feminist masculinity or reformed manhood that values equality and emotional openness rather than elimination. This is the SHIT they are teaching your kids in college. Frankly, probably in high school too. But this is the crap that scholars are teaching your children on campus. This is why so many 18 to 25-year-old males are homosexuals after they left. Let me rephrase that. It's why they come back home after their freshman or junior year or freshman and sophomore year, gay from college. Because this is the crap they're shoving in their brains. They're already protein starved. They're already testosterone deficient. And then you go pounding this into their brains. And they think, well, I must be gay. It's the right thing to do. It's gross, man. It's gross. Continuing on. In summary, I got to make this quick. In summary, if one interprets liberal attack as systemic critique, it arguably began with Enlightenment-era feminism in the late 1700s, gaining momentum in the 1960s. However, this framing overlooks how many critics aim to liberate men from restrictive norms, not demonize them. Perspectives vary widely, and some viewing it as progressive reform and others as cultural overreach. For deeper reading, explore works by Connell or historical feminist text. All right, we got to take a break. Online, don't go nowhere. I'm going to stay with y'all, dig off into your comments. Radio, don't go anywhere. We got a short segment coming up, followed by our top of the hour news. And at 8:07, we're going to jump back into this, and I'm going to really, really peel the onion back with my opinion and yours. We're talking about the attack on masculinity this morning. When did it begin and how we defeat it? That's right. We're going to discuss how we defeat this attack without going to prison. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Don't go anywhere this morning. We scrapped the show prep. We're winging it here. Pay no attention to the title. 911 is in fact a joke in Jackson. We know that. It never works. Yesterday was no different. We're talking about something that affects all of us and the young men in your life. It's the attack on masculinity. All right, guys. I know we jumped off into it this morning, and this isn't normally how I do things, but this is something I'm super passionate about. And you need to be too. If you've got a young man, if you've got a son, a nephew, a grandchild that you're raising, or they're in your life, or you're just a mentor for young men, you need to be listening to this. You need to dive into this yourselves and explore, what the feminization of the modern male, it's a problem. It is absolutely a problem. And I'm not saying to be a masculine male, you got to be able to bench press 225. You got to do all these things. You got to have tattoos. It's not any of that. That helps. Not the tattoo part, but working out is a huge factor to masculinity. Actually, you know what? I am going to go out on a limb here, and I don't really think I'm going out on a limb. I think physical fitness and working out is absolutely one of the most important parts of masculinity. Now, some people can't. They have physical disabilities that prevent them, but you can have a masculine mind. You can have a strong mind. And you can be a very, very important voice in the rebirth of the masculinity movement. So I don't just, but if you can work out, you absolutely need to be, because that physical, what you're doing for your body, you're also doing for your mind. And look, I've been on and off and on and off and on and off. By no means am I the poster boy for working out. So I don't want to sit here and pretend I am, but I just know what it does for me mentally when I'm on my workout game, when I'm really, really focused on it, how much better of a man it makes me. And by that, I mean a better leader for my family, a more engaged community leader, and a better host of this radio show and the platform. So if it'll do that for me, imagine what it can do for you. Let's see here. Jeremy says, I tell my sons this or send it to them every chance I get. Jeremy won't let me click on that, but I will go look at it on X here in a minute. Greg says, I'm a high school teacher, public school. We do not teach that. Good. Thank you, Greg. And I didn't think they did in high school, at least not in Mississippi. But they do a lot of crap that blows my mind. I hear about all the time. I'm like, what? Did what? And I know it's tied to a lot of that's tied to federal dollars and everything, but still, it's just mind-boggling sometimes. Now, Greg, you're a good dude, by the way, brother. You know I like you. I keep up with all you're doing. I do. Game recognized game. And you're one of the top Uber drivers out there, too. The Game Day Express, right? Y'all need an Uber for game day. Holler at my boy, Greg, there. Good people. J-Dog says, imagine what people would have thought about 100 years ago. Like we used to actually have to fight for stuff, kill for stuff that we just run about and go pick up at the store at any willy-nilly time now. I mean, imagine these feminine dudes. Really imagine anybody, but especially these feminine dudes who want to ban guns. Imagine them being told, meet me in the middle of the street. We're having a duel, motherfucker. What? No. All right, we're coming back from break. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, here live on WYAB. We only got about 30 seconds here, so I can't dive into much, but we are killing it over in the online stream. The chat is on fire over there. If you want to jump in and take part in that, at SaveJXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and at Clay Edwards Show on Rumble. When we come back, we're diving further into the attack on masculinity and how we win the culture war. All right. Let's see here. I'm just kind of reading over some of my text here. Leslie, I'm not sure if you're watching online or on the radio. I'm asking somebody a question. Or radio. All right. Yeah, brother. J-Dog, 100%, man. 100 years ago would have them broken. J-Dog will be at Martin's today, by the way. So that's my boy here, Stickered. He will be at Martin's bartending today for lunch at the Livingston location. So y'all get by there and grab some of that fried chicken from Martin's. It is oh so good. So many places overcook their white meat chicken because there's a particular group of people around here who like their chicken fried hard. So they cater to that. And so for the rest of us who don't like our chicken fried hard, otherwise burnt, it makes eating fried white meat chicken intolerable. Not Martin's. They fry it till it's done, and they pull it out of the fryer. And it's white meat that's actually juicy. Oh, my gosh, it's so good. It's almost cool enough outside to be able to enjoy some fried food without having the meat sweats. We ain't quite there yet. Greg says, Trump's personal money guy, who is now the Secretary of Treasury, is gay, is what he is, not who he is. Thank you. you took my language right there, Greg. And I know I've already said it once, but it sounds like I'm being homophobic this morning. I'm not. I'm making a point that what we're doing is driving a bunch of young men to believe that, well, I must be gay. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I must be gay. And these aren't men who are really gay. These are young men who feel like they've just been optioned out of heterosexual life, optioned out of a masculine life. So they're like, well, I must be gay. That must be where I fit in. And I think you've got a lot of people right now who are gay for, not gay for pay, but gay for lack of option. And they want that emotional attachment with somebody, that physical attachment with somebody. And they're like, and that's why you're seeing, I think, so many of the incel types turn to homosexuality. Anyway, and I think those are the ones that end up being the loudest and the proudest, and they walk down the pride parades wearing G-strings and looking like an absolute sexual predator at these parades like the one they just had in Jackson. Or they dive into the transgender stuff. You know, I think that a lot of people are being pushed into that because I think people who are just do that. Same with being gay. Why do I need to know that you're gay? I don't care who you sleep with. All right, we're coming back from the break. I got to go quiet for a second. Boom goes La Dynamite. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary, the most toxically masculine show on the RADIO between 7 and 9 a.m. right here on WYAB. I don't want to speak for the rest of the male show host here on the station, but definitely in this time slot every day, this is the most toxically masculine show here on 103.9, as well as online, streaming at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, X, and of course at Clay Edwards Show on Rumble. We're having a sale today. More people. The orders just keep chinging right on in at buyfafo.com. If you like the shirt I'm wearing, get out, support your boy. I got them marked down 50% today with the promo code CLAY at checkout. You can get the military green. You can get it in black, or you can get any choice of FAFO ball caps, trucker caps, whatever you want to call them, also at 50% off, and the big FAFO flags. You got a home gym, you got a boat, got anywhere you want to fly a flag, hang a flag, the garage, the shop, anywhere you can fit it, it'll fly. FAFO, they're 50% off as well. That basically means everything's about $15 each. So you can't beat that. I didn't do free shipping, but hey, I can't pay for everything. Oh, you'll get free stickers with it too. Every order comes with a couple free stickers, the FAFO. So good stuff there. All right, man. It wouldn't be a show about masculinity if we didn't plug Men's Health in Mississippi. Take advantage of the free testosterone screening and get your masculinity back. Make sure you're chemically balanced to begin with. It's hard to be a masculine male if your testosterone levels are sub 300. So let's just start there. Find out what your testosterone levels are and then address as needed. Text Clay to 601-800-5130 if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction. Guys, lack of the morning wood, that is a sure sign of low testosterone. Sex drive, been a little lately, lack of testosterone. Not sleeping good, can't explain why. Just feeling meh, just kind of living life. Don't really care. Don't get too excited. Don't get too down. You're just like, meh, lack of testosterone. Depressed, can't quite figure out why. Suicidal thoughts, can't quite figure out why. Possibly lack of testosterone. It is, to me, it is the God gene in your body. I truly mean that. It is the God chemical in your body. It's testosterone. And without it, meh. Get your free testosterone screening scheduled today. 601-800-5130. Text my name, Clay. They'll get in touch with you. You can also decide if you want to try the compounded semaglutide. That's basically generic Ozempic. Need help losing weight? Got you covered there as well. All right, man. Man, y'all are pouring in with these orders. Shout out to Chance, who just placed an order. Much love, man. Much love to you guys. Shout out to Jason, to Chance, to Ashton, J-Rock, Chad, Justin, Kevin, Elizabeth, Gwendolyn, Keisha, Christopher, Todd. Come on down. Come on down. Buyfafo.com. Promo code Clay. 50% off. Toxic masculinity. Let's read some of your text here. On the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Unknown texter. If you hear a person use hegemony and intersexual in conversation, they are a smug Marxist a-hole. Avoid them at all cost. And he said, I meant to say intersectional. Yeah, I know what you meant. Intersectional. Yeah, absolutely. If anybody uses big words like that, gay! Unknown texter. Why are there so many leftists in our schools and colleges indoctrinating these young adults? We need more conservatives in the education system, and in the process of becoming a teacher, there needs to be a psychological evaluation done. Same for Congress and Senate. Yeah, that is a really good point. I'm telling y'all, man, if I had a son right now and they were looking at going to college. Now, look, I know we've been even us that didn't go to college, we've all been so hardwired and programmed to get excited at the thought of our kids going to college, especially those of us that didn't go. You know, you want to see your kid that did it first. And I've got a daughter. I mean, I feel the same way about her. But I'm talking about masculinity this morning. Toxic masculinity, whatever. And I would be scared to death, no matter how good of a job I've done parenting, no matter how well I've programmed my child, the young man in my life, to be a masculine, strong-willed, mentally, physically, spiritually strong individual. I would be very, very worried about sending them off to some 4-year university to be indoctrinated and brainwashed by some liberal nut job tenured professor. And all of the cultural things, we'll say, that go on these college campuses. Somebody sent me a text earlier and talked about the movie PCU. That is a great example of what's going on at these colleges. You ever heard the phrase, they're doing the meme? They're doing the meme. For example, we forever joked about Trump could come out with a cure for cancer, and liberals would say, I don't want a cure for cancer. Give me cancer. Trump doesn't like it, so I like it. We got a cure for cancer. I want cancer. We got a cure for AIDS. Well, I want some AIDS. Well, now they're doing that with Tylenol. It's like Tylenol, pregnant women taking Tylenol can cause your child to have autism. Now you got all these videos popping up on TikTok. And it's liberal white women downing Tylenol because they're gonna show Trump, well, I'll just take some Tylenol and prove him wrong. Well, one of those dumbasses, I'm not going to censor myself for that, one of them killed herself. Went into liver failure, and the baby was born premature, and she died, or is on a machine dying, and she's never going to get to see her child because she overdosed on Tylenol to own Trump. Those people's vote count as much as yours and mine, by the way. I mean, we really need to look at the 14th Amendment again. I'm serious. My God. Some of y'all women are reminding us why women didn't get to vote for a long time. Y'all need to take the mirror and have a real conversation with some of the people in your camp, like I'm having this morning with the feminine males in my camp. Ooh-wee. They are not doing y'all any, and I am kidding, by the way. Women 100% should be able to vote. I'm just joking, sorta. But anyway, to my point, I would be very worried about sending my child off to college right now and have to worry about them being indoctrinated. I mean, look at Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk assassin. I mean, he was, for all intents and purposes, he was raised right, literally and figuratively, raised conservative, raised as not a Christian, but a Mormon, so they have some form of the faith. Was raised to be law enforcement supporting, straight male, and conservative values. And 1 year at a university sent him into a tailspin. But I don't think it's strictly the university. I think that the modern society, what's going on online, the grooming, the all-out attack on masculinity and manhood, and everything that the programming, I guess is the best way to say it, that's going. I don't just mean the programming that's on the internet and on TV, like what's there. I mean the programming they're doing to the brains of these children that are endlessly scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and wherever else, Reddit, Facebook, all these websites, social media sites. I would be very, very concerned, no matter how good of a job I've done, about my child coming back from college gay or liberal. Kind of one and the same. But I would seriously consider just wanting them to go to a trade school instead of college. Honestly, I think people should be doing that anyway, because I think trades are going to be worth way more. I think they already are. Worth way more than a useless college degree, than just a random business degree, an underwater basket weaving degree, CRT, all the whole spiel, psychology degrees. I mean, unless you're going with not a specific major, but you have a specific job in mind that pays well, why would you go to college? I just don't get it. Why would you go get a random degree? Because it looks good on a resume? But I'm telling you, if I'm in charge of hiring, and I don't care what the position is, let's just say the position is general sales manager. And I don't care what field it's in. And I got 2 applicants. One guy that went straight from high school to the workforce and has worked his way up the ladder the hard way, the school of hard knocks, trial and error, had a family young, had to pay bills, put food on the table to feed his family, understands the real world, but maybe he's inexperienced in this particular field. Maybe he's just done hard work his whole life, but he understands logistics and understands teamwork and understands being a leader. There's this guy. Or then over here, you've got a fresh out of college, the same age now, but this guy's got a 5-year head start into the real world, straight out of high school, right? Maybe went to JUCO for a year. Then he started doing HVAC. I don't know, just pick something. Just working in the real world. There's this guy. Or then there's this fresh out of college grad with a random business degree, but hadn't worked in the real world not a single day. And they're applying for the same job. I'm hiring the guy that didn't go to college, that's been working in the real world for 5 years. As long as they weren't hopping from job to job to job, they got to be a consistent individual. They got to have a real workforce history. I don't just mean general labor either. I mean, real workforce history. I'm taking the guy that's done the real world work over the college grad every day. And I believe most people are doing the same thing. In the world of Clay Edwards, that college degree hurts you more than it helps you. I think we need to understand real quick in the evaluation process of children, especially at the high school level. And Greg, I know, is a teacher. He's watching this, and I would like his opinion on this. I think early on, we just need to understand that some kids ain't built for this. They need a heavy focus on trade, VOTEC. It's like, all right, look, book smarts ain't going to be it for Clay, for Tyrone, for Tyler. Book smarts ain't going to be it. But you know what? They're good at problem solving. They're good with their hands. They understand hand-eye coordination. They know how to build stuff. I don't. But somebody's got to be the voice of reason. And some people are good at book smart stuff. Some people are going to make great accountants. Some people are going to make great engineers. Some people even doctors. Some people are going to make great lawyers. There's a need for all that. You know what there ain't a need for? More psychology degrees, more MBAs. We don't need any more of that. No more CRT, DEI, underwater basket weaving degrees. But that guy over there, he likes to work on cars. He likes to build things. I think early on in the process, if it's 8th, 9th, 10th grade, we need to start pointing children towards VOTEC a lot sooner and not holding them to the same standard for graduation that we hold Susie or John or Chris to that are more book smart. I don't know. I just think that everybody shouldn't have to go the same path to get to the same location. I think some people take different paths, and I don't think the education system recognizes that enough. And I believe that is where the demasculizing, the emasculation of the male begins, is when we're forcing people with animal instincts to sit in a desk all day, shut up and behave. I mean, I believe the neutering of the masculine male starts in those high schools, starts in those elementary schools, those middle schools every day by forcing, basically at the end of the day, an animal, which is what we are, to sit still and be quiet all day. Everybody ain't built like that. Everybody ain't built like that. Let's take a break, and we're going to read more of your comments and your text when we come back. And let's talk about what we can do. I want you guys' opinions. Now, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. What can we do to solve the masculinity problem in America right now? Because we got one. Let's talk about solutions, positive solutions. I want y'all's thoughts on it. Don't forget, shirts and hats and all that stuff, 50% off today. Promo code CLAY at buyfafo.com. Call or stay on hold. We'll be right to you. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back into the show, the Clay Edwards Show. Man, guys, I know I've been plugging my stuff a lot today. I just really needed to kickstart sales on the FAFO merch again. I know y'all are tired of hearing me push it, but y'all are buying it. Man, I'm just sitting over here watching the orders just ring on in. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And here's the key. If you order something, when you get it, text me a picture of you with it, if you don't mind. And just understand, if you text me a picture, that is you giving me permission to post that picture on social media. Those pictures of y'all wearing those shirts and hats help me sell more than anything I can put online, anything I can put on the radio, any of that. You guys wearing that merch sells that merch for me better than anything. That's buyfafo.com, promo code CLAY for 50% off on select shirts, caps, flags. It's really not select, it's everything. 50% off on everything for the most part. Because there's some stuff that's already just priced, some of my old merch that's already just priced, no promo code needed at half off. So Pretty much everything on the site's 50% off. Promo code CLAY at checkout. Hey, this weekend, Cypress Point Resort. Today, it's they're doing their world, soon to be world famous. I've definitely helped make it famous locally. The big ribeye steak sandwich today, Friday. It's the Blue Plate Special, $18.95, 16-ounce fat-infused ribeye steak, cooked however you like it. I do mine rare to medium rare, on a homemade, I think it's a sourdough bun, but it's made fresh there, in-house daily. It's nice, it's fluffy, it's not dry. Oh, it's so good. You get that and a side of fries or whatever side you want, I believe. Let's just say fries for the sake of arguing here. $18.95. Yeah, it's a little on the high side for lunch, but it's a ribeye steak dinner. You can't get a ribeye steak dinner for $19, $20 anywhere. You're getting it on a bun at lunch. It's big enough to split. I split one with a friend the other day, and I left miserably full. So really, two of you show up, you spend $10, $12 each with a drink, tip, whatever. Cypress Point Resort today, 11 to 2, the ribeye steak sandwich. And then they got some awesome weekend specials going on there as well in the tavern and the steakhouse. You got an 8-ounce Piragua. I know I'm butchering that. I'm a redneck from South Jackson. Pierogi filet with sauteed mushrooms and onions for $54.95. Lobster butter poached halib topped with lump crab for $46.95. I hope I got that somewhat right. Their appetizer specials are firecracker shrimp, Cypress Point oysters, and the dessert is peach cobbler a la mode. Sounds great. Check out their Facebook page, Cypress Point Resort. And look, coming up, it's going to be a big one. Coming up on October 25th, the Legends return to Central Mississippi. And I believe it's their first time ever to Rankin County. Spank the Monkey will be live at Cameron's Garage at Cypress Point Resort. And it's a benefit for Real Men Wear Pink. I think that's Buck Allman that's doing this. Don't quote me on that. I know he's participating in the Real Men Wear Pink this year. So I believe that's Buck, I hope it is, if I'm saying it. So get out there, see Spank the Monkey, support a great cause, and have a good time. I'll be there. I'm advertising it now. I will be there on October 25th at Cypress Point Resort for Spank the Monkey. Can't wait. All right, let's jump back into the Guns and Gear text line. Oh, we got a caller on hold on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, thanks for staying on hold. You're on there.
Good morning, Clay.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to call in. And by the way, I've been listening to your show for now about 3 years, and interesting conversation. But I wanted to just call in regards to your commentary this morning about do men lose their masculinity when attending college. I'm not for sure where that came from, but attending college does not inherently cause anyone to lose their masculinity. It is my belief that college is a time for exploration, learning, and personal growth. And you know, a person's identities, masculine or feminine, can become more, evolved as they encounter new ideas, challenges, and communities. Now, we all know that the term masculinity is not a fixed statue. True. It's a set of traits and identities that can be evolved with experiences. And because you go to college, that does not mean a young man will lose his masculinity. Why young men want to become other than who they should be, I cannot answer that. But just to say that if you go to college, you're going to become other than a male.
No, I
don't know.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, and I really appreciate the call, and I appreciate you listening to the show. What I'm saying is, it's the stuff that they're brainwashing them. Yes, sure. Everybody's not coming back from college, homosexual or transgender or anything. It's not a guarantee. But with so many liberal professors that are teaching these students buying into this pro-feminist agenda that's going on, and this kind of anti-masculinity agenda, this globalist agenda that's going on, we don't have a good balance of what I would say conservative male professors or even pro-masculine female professors versus the very, very hard left professors that are in there brainwashing, teaching our young men and women that go off to college. Now, there's a whole other conversation to be had about what happens to women when they go to college, too, potentially. Some people are just set in their values, and this stuff doesn't faze them. And God bless them. But there are a lot that go up there, and they get pushed to that other side, and it's concerning. It really is.
Well, I think that's something that has to be, we got to dig a little bit more deeper into, because, I attended college, and as a matter of fact, when I grew up, I was an outdoor baby, a tomboy to the core.
Love
Played
it.
Football, basketball, ran, just climbing trees.
My sister's the same way.
But I am a full-grown woman, never had a desire to be with another woman, so I cannot, say that. Or attest to the fact that, I went to college and I became a lesbian.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
I love that. And B, you said a term there that we have forgotten, that the media and society has buried, and that's tomboy. They see now if a young girl says she's a tomboy, they're like, oh, well, you're a lesbian. And she's like, oh,
no.
Am I a lesbian? And you're telling these young girls at a young age that, no, you can't be a tomboy. If you enjoy doing those things, you are gay. And they're like, oh, well, I'm gay. And I think that the term tomboy is something that absolutely needs to be brought back. My sister was a tomboy, and she's never been gay. She played softball. I mean, she was, all these what we would consider kind of potential lesbian stereotypes. My sister checked off a lot of those boxes growing up and was never once a lesbian or anything like that. So
absolutely,
you can absolutely get through it without that stuff. But she's 40. I'm 48, so she's 45. She's 3 years younger than me. So she's right on the verge of a Gen X millennial, right in there. So, but I think it was somewhere after that, somewhere into the latter end of the millennial generation, and so on, where they started saying, well, you can't be a tomboy if you like. Just like if they see a young boy play with Barbie dolls, they're like, well, you must be a transgender girl. Like, no, he's just a young man that's playing with Barbie dolls. I used to mix G.I. Joe and Barbie dolls all together. I mean, that's why the shirt I'm wearing now is a rip-off of the G.I. Joe logo. I still love toys, but I don't think I'm a man-child.
Exactly. And playing basketball with boys. I mean, I was a hooper, but never had a desire to date a girl or even had that thought in my mind. So I think society is putting a lot of nonsense in our young people's minds, thinking that, it's okay to be this way, it's okay to be that way. But you have to have, your family values, how you grew up, and I know that kind of stuff was taboo when I was growing up.
Absolutely.
But I did have a friend who, he was gay, he was a guy, and we couldn't understand it, but we didn't reject him or anything like that, not knowing why is he like that, why he like girls, because eventually I became a majorette and he wanted to do those kind of things, but I never shone down on him or looked down on him, was just a little confused in my mind, like, well, we're a boy, why you want to do this? But the love was still there.
Let me ask you on that, because I started the show off with a very similar topic or story. Your friend, the young man who was gay, was he the last one to know he was gay? Was he one of those type that we would say born gay, just very feminine from the beginning?
I met him when we were in elementary school, and I didn't know, just some boys have that quality in them. I don't know. I can't answer that because we never even thought about it.
Well, I was I'd made the point earlier in the show that I do, and I know a lot of my Christian friends disagree with me on this, and I am a Christian, but I do believe that some young men are just kind of born with the gay gene. And it has nothing to do with the way they were raised or the influences in their life, because I know a young man that was raised with the most masculine set of men in his life. And he's just, so we've known since he was 3 years old that he was very feminine, and he eventually came out as gay. And I feel like he was the last one to know, you know?
And it could be that so, but ultimately, the way I was raised with my parents, you just got to love people for who they are, and that's where I stand today as a grown adult. Thank God I don't have any of my children who are gay or anything like that. But if they were, I still would love them the same, and because I'm not the one to judge. So I guess that's my standpoint. But and going back to obtaining a college education, I think it's important. College is not for everybody, but it would help our young people in today's society to maneuver in this world. Yeah. You have to have some type of educational background, whether it's with a 2-year college or a 4-year college, in a business degree or a bachelor, master's, if you want to pursue your PhD, whatever it is you want to do, but make sure that's what you want to do in this life, not to just go to school just to go.
Well, yeah, that's what that I was going to say. I will politely disagree with you, but if you're going with a intent of I need this degree to do this, absolutely. If you're just going because you want to have a degree in your toolbox, I don't recommend that. Look, I got to take my break. Great call. Thank you so much. Feel free to call back anytime.
All right, thank you, Clay. You have a great one.
You too. Phenomenal phone call. One of the best we've had in a long time. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Guys, got to Guns and Gear this weekend. Right there, Highway 51 North, Gluckstadt, Mississippi, at Yandell Road. Check out all their full line of new and pre-owned firearms, accessories, and more. And don't overlook the knife cabinet, the display case up there. Some really, really cool knives out there at Guns and Gear. And, of course, they're your home for Cerakoting and gunsmithing. I say it all the time. Don't go to the middleman. A lot of these other gun stores, they don't do it in-house. They're just going to send it over to Guns and Gear. Cut the middleman out. Unless you got a guy you already know. You got a guy you deal with. We all got a guy. All of us got a guy. My guy is Hunter. He should be your guy for all your gunsmithing and Cerakoting needs. And don't forget, they buy guns as well. No sense in having to go down and deal with a pawn shop somewhere in Jackson or any of that stuff. You need to sell a gun, take it out to Guns and Gear and let them make you a fair market value offer on it. Just like Casey Ellis with the cars, Hunter at Guns and Gear does the same thing. Going to make you a fair market value offer on your firearm. Have you inherited an estate with some firearms in it? Don't know what you got, don't know what they're worth, not sure what to do with it? Give Hunter a call. Let him help you out. Let you put a value on it for you. Maybe help you sell it. Maybe buy it. That's Guns and Gear. Shop them online. Guns in, the letter N, not word and. It's gunsingear.co. Also, Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, all 3 great locations ready to serve you today. It's a fried catfish Friday on the blue plate. And check out their football catering, their tailgate catering menu. Get you a large pan of queso or the beef tenderloin queso. Oh, it's also good. So many great options. Get you a tray of wings, a burger buffet. They got it all. Pulled pork tray. Man, their pulled pork is so, so good. Be the rock star of the tailgate with a quick trip to Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. Check them out online, burgersblues.com. Flowwood at Dogwood, Madison on Main Street, and downtown Brandon. Watch the games there, or get a great order to go and go back and watch them at home. Nashville hot wings are my personal favorite. All right. I don't know why somebody would call me on Facebook. The quickest way for me to think you're a psychopath is to call me from Facebook Messenger, especially when I'm live. Like, you went through the trouble of opening up Facebook, and you saw that I'm live, and you decide to hit call. Whoever Danny is, stop calling me. I'm not answering. I will never answer Facebook Messenger. I will block you if you call me on Facebook Messenger. You can send me a message on Facebook Messenger. It is a texting app. I don't know what third world country people call each other on Facebook Messenger, but it's not this show here. 3 times in a row this person has called me. 3 times in a row. Let's go to Guns and Gear text line and see what you guys got to say. Let's talk about masculinity. That's where we were at. Hold on a second. Please quit calling this number. Good Lord. Let me block this guy so he'll quit calling. He's just back to back like a psychopath. There's a way to block people, I'm sure. Let's see here. I know there's a block button somewhere. I know this is terrible radio, but he's just going on and on and on with this block. There we go. Got him blocked. What kind of weirdo calls consistently? Wild Bill on the Guns and Gear text line says, I hate Facebook Messenger callers. I will not answer them ever. Let's take a call on the Guns and Gear, on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Good morning. You're on there.
Hey, Clay. I was going to tell you, as far as when you were talking about schools and colleges teaching kids about different things, you are 100% right. My daughter just graduated from Mississippi State last year. And while she was there, one of her professors was talking about how many genders it is. And my daughter told me that her professor said that there were so many genders that you couldn't even fit them all up on the board in that classroom.
All you need is 2 fingers.
Exactly. And when she told me that, I was wanting to call the dean and let the dean know that I'm not paying for my child to go to school to listen to some bull crap that's not true. But she begged me not to say anything or do anything because she was afraid it would affect her. You know, she was afraid it would affect her because she didn't know if I would have to give my name, her name, and all that. But, yeah, these colleges, they're run by a whole bunch of people that don't believe in Christianity, genders, what's right, or anything. They go for everything that's wrong, and they shove it down our kids' throats.
Well, they don't live in the real world either. It's a lot of tenured professors that just live in this little bubble on campus. And, look, there are some great people at colleges and at these universities, and I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but they need to figure out a way to get these psychopaths in check. We got to get better at balancing out the conservative and liberal influence on these college campuses. I don't know what You're right. is. I don't know if more conservatives need to get into education. Maybe they're not. I don't believe that because I meet a lot of great teachers out there. A lot of public school, private school teachers that come up to me all the time and thank me for what I do, and they're super conservative. So I know we have conservatives in our education system. I believe that they have to remain silent because their fear of their employment or fear of being overlooked for promotions or whatever because they go against the grain of the higher education. But we've got to fix that. We've got to get something in place where people can be allowed to have their political opinions on both sides without fear of repercussions, or we just need to take their First Amendment rights away altogether and not let either side spew their political opinions. But we can't continue to have one only be the dominant voice.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, there's some good ones. There are some good ones in the school systems.
Yep.
But in them colleges, though, you got a lot more bad ones than you have good ones, and I've seen that.
I agree. But, great call, brother.
All right.
Appreciate you, man. Man, that makes it a little bit harder to pull from Mississippi State this weekend, doesn't it? But I'm sure Tennessee's got its fair share of weirdos up there as well. I'm going to do this real quick. How about a big old Hell State and even a big old Hotty Toddy for the weekend? And if you're a JSU fan, big old I love. Isn't that what y'all say? What about Southern Miss to the top? And Pearl, Brandon, all the high schools out there, Madison Central, Gluckstadt. I hate to start naming them because I'll forget one. Clinton, Byram, Terry, whatever. Love all y'all. Let's take our last break, come back, land the plane for the day. Somebody asked me what kind of watch I got on. I will have to read the fine print and tell you here during the break in the live chat. I'll be right back to land the plane. Let's see. It was a gift, and I'm trying to read it. It's so dang small. It's badass. It's a diving watch. Aqua Truant, I think. It's Aqua something. Anyway, I got the box that came in. I got a red band and a black band with it. I just love this blue band. It's like a $600 watch. But like I said, it was a gift from a buddy of mine. I did him a favor, and he reciprocated that favor with a badass watch. And it's like the first adult watch I've ever had. First adult watch I've ever had. All right, guys, look, no sense of leaving y'all here hanging. Y'all get out to McBee's today for lunch as well. It's a fried catfish Friday at McBee's. I'm going to tell the radio audience about that when we come back to land the plane. And I appreciate all the orders, man. I think we got about 15, 16 orders on the website today so far. So I appreciate everybody. Y'all get out, enjoy the weekend. All these great sponsors, advertisers, support them. Whether you're dining, just don't dine and dash. Whether you're dining in, carrying out, sitting at the bar with my buddy J-Rock out there at Livingston Martin's or anywhere else, enjoy your weekend. Be blessed. I'll see y'all back Monday. Maybe you'll see me on the radio, not the radio. Maybe you'll see me online this weekend. Maybe I'll get a wild hair and do a live stream tonight or tomorrow night or Sunday night. I'm not going out any, kind of staying at home, trying to save money, work out, not drink. So maybe I'll do a live stream this weekend. We'll see. Don't hold your breath. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. As we land the plane for the day, guys, don't forget to hit up McBee's Bar and Grill right there on Lake Harbor Drive. It's a fried catfish Friday. And don't forget to get down to the Manship. It's a fish taco Friday there at one of the top 150 bourbon bars in America, the Manship Wood-Fired Kitchen. Not only is it top 150, it's actually in the top half. It's like 72 or 73 ranked whiskey bar in America. Bourbon bar, same thing, in my opinion. Swing by, check them out as well in downtown Jackson. I'll see y'all back here Monday. I said we were going to come up with a solution for the attack on masculinity, and I think simply the solution is stand up and fight back. See you Monday.